Hello, Miss Heather. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Great. It is such an honor to have you on here today, just sharing your story, sharing a little bit of your journey. Obviously, we can't encompass all of your journey, but really just kind of the journey over these last couple of years since we've really kind of dove in on a whole different side. I think it was more kind of friendship and business in the very, very beginning, and then it's just evolved and in such a beautiful witness to your awakening and just really you stepping into who you are. So I would love for you to share like a little bit about yourself, a little background on you.
So I am a health and wellness coach. I got into health and wellness because I had my own challenges and struggles with being overweight and emotional eating and body image issues. And after I lost 100 pounds, I was inspired to also help others who struggle and maybe don't know where to get started. And when I first got started with coaching, it was more on a personal training level with focusing on fitness. And then I began to see that no matter what workout I put others through, that if they weren't addressing their nutrition, that the results would not stick. And so I started getting more into nutrition, got certified in nutrition coaching, and then realized that there's other things that come to play with your mindset and ability to stick with a program. And um, yeah, so I've kind of been through my own journey as far as that with myself over the past several years, and that's really where I came to Selena for assistance, getting past some of that past trauma and really being able to release those things and move forward in a healthy way with self-love and be even better, not only for myself but for others too, to lead by example.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And it resonates so much. Like just listening to you, my tears are already starting to form in my eyes because it really is our own personal journey that really sets us to the next level or that next space or that next learning of even the people that come into our lives, right? That are looking to really transition and change. And I think that's such a beautiful description on how you start with one thing, right? You start with, this is the focal, this is where you start your learnings, but then you start realizing that there's more, and then there's a little bit more, and there's a little bit more. So thank you for touching on that too, that it's not that you just focus on one thing and then it's all there, right? Which is what a lot of individuals, when they see things on magazines or see things on social media, think, oh, well, I'm just going to do this diet, or I'm just, we've all went through that, just being sucked into the diet, right? Just focus on the diet. And, really realizing that there is a disconnect with really what we're seeking in the end of it. And in the aspects of self-love, that definitely is something that hits home with me. So I would love to know really like, what was your life like before you worked with me?
I was very giving to other people, lacking boundaries, as far as, being respectful of my time. Um, I also was challenged with some relationship issues and over giving in that department, almost, well, to the point of depletion and completely losing myself in the process, not knowing who I was coming out of that. And so a lot of the work that we've done and we continue to do has really helped to dig within and help me to feel complete and whole within myself and not search for that from other people. And also to heal those things that had happened previous in my childhood or um, past lives even, that has led me to have the different challenges and learning experiences that I've had today.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it really hasn't just helped in one area. of your life?
No, it's been all encompassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mindset, and it's helped. The mindset overspills into being able to adhere to a healthy eating plan, to find self-worth and that you're enough to take care of yourself and not need some external motivation for that, trying to look good for someone else or for, whatever it may be. Being able to find a routine as far as your movement, and stick with that. If we don't fix our mind, we're just going to keep spinning our wheels and keep going back and forth and yo-yoing between different types of diets. And you need to have that self-worth and self-esteem to be able to do it for you and know it's not going to be easy and things are going to come in your way, but you have to be able to get past that. And if you don't love yourself, you're going to give up at the first sign of challenge. And you need to be resilient. Good things don't come easy. Anyone that has ever been successful in the past has failed along the way, and you need to take those lessons and continue to move forward. And I don't know how many times we've, kind of supported and pushed and cheerleaded each other through different obstacles and challenges along the way. And I'm so, so grateful for everything that you've ever, done to help support me on my journey. And I'm thankful that I've been able to do that back to you as well.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much into that that you just shared. It really is that rediscovery of who you are as a person, right? Um, and we'll touch on this here in a little bit because I know you had some physical health things, right? And some pain things that were going on before we dove into the work that we did too. But the measurements of our own self-worth and our self-love, like, would you say growing in those areas, that's also helped you also with your coaching business and how you work with individuals, whether it's through the emotional spaces of what they're going through, trying to transform their own physical being, or whether it's just teaching someone how to start on, I know we both are kind of on the word diet, but that's what people understand, right? But how to make those better choices for their health.
Yeah, I mean, it's helped because I lead by example instead of telling someone to do something because I said so.
Mhm.
And I can understand and empathize with where they're at because I've been challenged too. And maybe it's not necessarily that same specific challenge. And we're not trying to have this comparison of whose challenge was more challenging thing, but everybody has obstacles that come up. And you just need to know how to get around it. And sometimes having another set of eyes from external can help you to see something or a different path that maybe you never would have even thought of, traversing down. And so it's helped me in my coaching abilities, to be able to speak from experience. I mean, who would I be to be telling someone that, you need to make better choices? And I'm sitting over here eating a Snickers bar,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So you're more authentic, and I think people can really see through that. They can read through that. People know when there's someone that's just pushing products or something to make a dollar off of them. They see dollar signs over their head and don't truly want to help them to become a better, healthier version of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So over these years, had you tried multiple different things to try to get to even this point that you are now? I know that I'm a firm believer that we never stop growing, or we never should. We should always be hungry for what is our next highest level of us. But you know, have you ever been in that spot?
I've tried a lot of different things. Um, Coming from the nutrition diet realm, I've tried a lot of things that are not healthy. I've tried fat burners. I've tried different fad diets. I've tried all of it. Um, Fitness wise, I've run half marathons. I've done bodybuilding. I've been obsessive about the physical appearance of my body, always focusing on how I look and not worrying about this. And that is why none of that was able to stick. And I was up and down. And I've tried different modalities as far as me going to a therapist. I've been medicated for being bipolar, which really I honestly feel was just not knowing how to navigate those extreme highs and lows and not having a coping mechanism to deal with the situations that I was going through, and always looking to external for to feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I had gotten into emotional eating behaviors and had gained over 130 pounds from where I'm at now. I had alcoholism issues. I've always had an addictive personality. So, like, I get one thing on my mind and I would overdo it. I maxed out credit cards. Like, there was a lot of stuff. It was almost like I switched one addiction for another, for another, for another. Um, and even with the therapy, it was helpful. I did EMDR, which is eye movement rapid desensitization. It helps to repattern the brain, but there was still some underlying trauma that was not able to be addressed through that until we really dove deep into the timeline sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. And we kind of had a unique situation because we knew each other, right? We had worked with each other. So I'd love for you to share kind of, what was that like for you?
With having known you previous to it.
Yeah, with having known me previously, knowing that when I do things with someone as far as through their it's deep work that I do, right? Like, so
Mhm.
did you, how did you feel going into that, knowing that we knew each other?
I am I'm good at opening up about things. Like, so to me, I think I almost felt more comfortable
Mm.
being able to share deeper with you because I knew you. We have this different kind of friendship. It's almost like you know when I need you because you are like calling me or messaging me, like, what's going on? I'm like, how did you know? Or, and I do the
Yeah.
same thing. We're just on this different wavelength. So for me, diving deep into those sessions, it wasn't, I didn't even have to like double, I didn't have to second guess it. I knew that I would be taken care of. I knew I was safe. I knew that everything I shared with you was safe. So
Yeah.
I was like, let's do it.
And I think that safety piece, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's such an intricate part of it, right? Like, my background is nursing. So I have so many people that I've worked with over the years that nobody, like, I live in a small town, nobody even knows that I've worked with them because of this confidentiality space, right? For them just wanting to feel that safety while they're transitioning, right? And then oftentimes whenever they've then transitioned and they've found that self discovery, they're like, I don't care who knows what I've done or where I've been, and I want to see other people have that help. But feeling safe with the individuals that you work with is such an intricate piece. And I know we touch on oftentimes, like, making sure you're working with somebody who has squeaky clean energy, right? Like, being careful yeah, with somebody who you want to make sure that their values, right, and that they're in a good space before you start doing the deep work with somebody like that. So um what did you love most about working with me?
I love that I was able to feel relief almost instantaneously coming out of our sessions. Um, I still like laugh and tell everyone about when you did that hypnosis on me for some of my food aversions, and I'd physically come to visit you at your house, at your home. And so I was flying back to Wisconsin, waiting in the airport, and one of the foods that I was having issues with was chicken tenders. Um, and so I'm sitting there waiting for my flight, and someone had Chick-fil-A, and my mouth started watering like I was gonna vomit. I was like, oh no. I hope this doesn't happen in the airport. I was like, where's the nearest restroom?
Oh, I love you sharing that. Oh, yeah. And that modality itself, like, when I, had that same experience when I went through my schooling, my certifications, mine was the Little Debbie snack cakes, which I'll share. I'll share another day on the Little Debbie snack cakes, but that was a huge addiction for me, right? And you think, how could this really work, right? But it does. And oh yes, I still remember. I probably still have the picture of you in the airport with
Yeah,
your chicken nuggets
I
or
took
your
it.
chicken
Yeah.
strips
Like,
going,
look at
ah,
this.
yes, oh my. So how would you say that life is different for you now?
Well, I've always been focused on self improvement. Self development has always been important to me. But I feel like this has just taken it to a different level that I would not have been able to experience by reading a book or by attending an event. It's something that has been almost ingrained within me, has changed within me to affect everything else in my life.
So beautiful, so beautiful. So if somebody was thinking about diving in, taking that next leap, we know money always is like, oh, investment, right? I know that we've worked on those things too, right? Like
Yeah.
these fears of investing in yourself, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's energy, or those things. Like, what would your advice be to someone looking or having that inner knowing that there's more to their life, right? Like there's more, but they just don't have the tool or the resource or the confidence or that self-love, right? To go to that next level alone. What would your advice be to that person?
You're worth it. You can't put a price tag on this kind of work. Honestly, you can't, because you're going to continue to reap the benefits long term. And I had been talking to somebody about our coaching and stuff, you working with me, and they were like, "Isn't it painful to look at that stuff and to try to address it and work through?" And I was like, would you rather have that momentary discomfort of facing whatever it is that you've been avoiding this entire time, be able to forgive and release that and move forward? Or do you want to continue to struggle with it for the rest of your life? What is it worth to you?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. That's powerful. Powerful.
And
That
you
we
have to believe that it's going to work.
hmm
You
hmm
have to know. If you have any doubts and you're saying this isn't going to work for me, then maybe work on believing it's going to work before you do the work.
yes,
Because
that's
otherwise, you're
yeah.
just going to flush your money down the toilet. When you have to know, and sometimes it's almost like you have to hit rock bottom.
Mhm.
And sometimes you have to do it a couple times and you have to
Hopefully,
bounce
hopefully.
off.
Yes, yes, yes. So if somebody was interested in, I know we've touched a little bit on the beautiful work that you do as well. If they were interested in finding you, how would they be able to find you?
I have my Instagram page. It's soar.wellness.studio on Instagram. I also have my Soar Wellness Studio page on Facebook, as well as my personal page, Heather LaFond.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I know we've got some other collaborations that we're going to be doing upcoming very, very, very soon. And I've got a new program called Release coming out. And I know you've been super pumped about this because it's something that we've talked about for years, right? For me, really being able to put something together that really encompasses everything. You've talked on nutrition, and we've talked on, the mind part of it, working through the traumas. Like this is going to be a fully encompassed. If somebody's really wanting a full submersion, it's literally going to be 12 weeks long, a full submersion. I've had for years people say, if I could just get into your head, Selena, right? Like if I could just be like the little fly on the wall. This is the opportunity to be able to do that and to deep dive into, really transitioning and really shifting and really changing your life. So Heather, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and to the top of my soul for sharing your experience and your journey with everyone. And I'm excited just to see what your next level is going to be.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having me.
You're welcome.